everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's Saturday the 11th of February. As you know, typically I don't film on a Saturday, but sometimes if I have the time and if I'm in the mood, I do. So I just finished filming actually a tutorial for this beautiful floral pattern, and in that tutorial we will be going through how to correctly identify colors in terms of combining them, creating limited color palettes, which colors are effectively working with one another, how to look at color value, etc., as well as how to create depth with your watercolors after you have picked the right colors, and certain watercolor techniques like glazing, etc. So all of that good stuff is coming next week. Next week we have half term, so it means I have filmed quite a few tutorials, and yeah, so loads of fun things are coming. Also, just a little sneak peek, that is also coming. So I have created a lovely, juicy, springy, botanical green granulating color palette. So today we will be discussing sketchbooks, and one of them is of course this one. This is the recent edition, which helped me in a way to get out of my creative block that I had in January. All of that I filmed the process and how I was sort of coming out of it and how it all started, but it started with this sketchbook. So it is by Royal Talents and it's called Art Creations or Art Creation Sketchbook. It's got 80 sheets and it's 140 GSM, acid free, all that good stuff. So this paper is great for drawing. It's very smooth. Typically I don't like this type of paper because I love working with watercolor, and generally I use watercolor paper, but this paper allows me to combine my love for watercolor as well as mixed media like colored pencils, and versus watercolor paper where I can't use those mediums. So currently I am completely and utterly fascinated by the modern botanical art, and I'm going with it and just enjoying it, and this paper is allowing me to do so. So the mediums that we already tried, I have talked you through. We have tried some beautiful acrylic, mixed media and abstract art. We have tried pencils, we have tried watercolor pencils and water soluble crayons, so the Neo Color 2. We have tried markers, water soluble and pigment markers. Everything is working beautifully, and of course fine liners and all that good stuff. So except for of course this you probably will see soon, it's, or maybe it was already up, I'm not sure, but these basically are alcohol markers, and yeah, they bleed through, so hence actually trying to cover it up with some dark purple. So let's now focus on the rest of the sketchbooks. What kind of sketchbooks do I like, and what sketchbooks would I recommend, and for which reason? So let's dive into that. Actually, before we start with the other sketchbooks, I just wanted to show you that I was already familiar with this sketchbook and I already had a few, and I really enjoyed it beforehand going with this format. And this format, I was inspired by Sandy Hester, who had so much good to say about it, and she has completely different art style and she uses completely different mediums, but it seems that I made it to work for me and I'm really enjoying it. So the sketchbooks that I had before is this little one, if you remember, started in September last year and I called it New Beginnings. So here we have loads of markers and loads of fine liner swatched out, because like I said, I discovered this paper to be good for those mediums back then already, and it's really fun to have a small sketchbook where I can have little bits like that. And also I bought this sketchbook which is even smaller, also the same type of sketchbook, And this one I'm intending to use for like when I take Mason to the parks in the spring or summer and we sit down and draw some botanical art that we can observe like around us. We live in the countryside, we have some beautiful English heritage parks to go to, so yeah, I love doing that. And this was quite funny because I set up a lovely picnic for us and set up all the pencils that I brought with me, and we just started drawing, and then a thunder came, like a proper storm, and we had to pack up quickly and leave. So hence I haven't had a chance to do much in this sketchbook, but because it's so small, it's literally your pocket sketchbook. I mean, I'll give you my phone size, and you can see that's like the size of a phone, and yeah, easy to take with you. And then I have another white one for future reference. Next sketchbook is the Jackson sketchbook. So they brought out their own line of sketchbooks, and I really enjoy them because the paper is 35% cotton. It has a little bit of texture, doesn't like too much water, but it's fine with a bit of water. So let's look inside. So I've got a small format here, which is a teeny one, and then a bigger one here. And I think actually, yeah, I think I might have already finished one of those, if I'm not mistaken. Did I? Let me pull it out. Yes, so it's not my first one. I already finished one. When I worked with it, it was really a lot of fun. And as you can see, I threw on a lot of different mediums, from inks to acrylic paint. It has taken a lot. Pencils probably is one medium that I don't think looks the best, but otherwise it's a lot of fun. It really is. Gorgeous abstracts, fun play with color. Yeah, highly recommended. So this one is the finished one, and then here I'm about not quite halfway, I'd say one third of it I am into here. I'm more settled in this one. I don't think I'm using many acrylic paints, just mostly watercolor. Oh, I filmed this tutorial as well, so that's coming. It's not a tutorial, it's more of a comparison of the colors. So let's see. I'm using a little bit of pencil, just as shading. It seems to be doing a great job of not printing out onto the opposite page. So you can see, for instance, here, nothing went onto here, but in the other one, the one that I showed you first, that does a great deal of printing. So the Royal Talent sketchbook, so there I need to be very careful. And in fact, I went through the strategy of putting pencils, or I am allowing myself to put pencils just on one side, so on the right side, and on the left I do something that's only like markers or watercolor, something that doesn't have pencil in there, because otherwise as you close it and you start on the next page after, it starts printing it off and making a huge deal of a mess. So this one I am actually coming to half of it, and I love how it fills the pages and they become a little bit crinkly. Here, loads of different things. This sketchbook is not dedicated to anything. It's a larger format, so it's great for me to film a tutorial because I have then bigger space to teach, and I can just sort of explore things and, you know, have fun with them and all that kind of stuff. So loads of different things. Not everything I love, but I think that's not the key. The key is to enjoy things. And yeah. So I had loads of fun. Let's see what's the latest. Oh, not much, so I need to go back to it. Sticking to watercolor paper, so actually this is like proper watercolor paper sketchbooks. We have Strathmore Visual Journal, would highly recommend it. I think it's relatively affordable. And it is a lot of fun. So here I started a Daniel Smith Primatex series, and I will be going back to it, I know that. but I took a long break after the scandal broke out. But I think, you know, obviously I still have the whole of those watercolors sitting there and I want to use them up. So definitely we'll go into it and see what sort of mixes we can do and stuff like that. I think I gave them enough of a break. Paper is great because it's not off-white, it's not like super white, it's not a warm tone, it's not a cool tone, it's very neutral, gorgeous paper. It's one-sided, however, so one side has this kind of a texture and then the other has just a regular watercolor texture. But watercolors look great. Haven't tried any other mediums, but for watercolor I recommend it. Also, it's so easy to film because I just can do that. It doesn't take up too much space. I love wire-bound sketchbooks personally. Let's move on to the next one, and this is my third one, I want to say. Yeah, it is my third one. So I just started it recently. It's Dalaroni, and this is a mixed media paper, and it's just very easy and super affordable. So the paper itself is super wide, and then all mediums look great. Again, it's more kind of one-sided, so I'm just using it on one side to do my monthly favorites and my whole swatches. And basically, if I need to find a medium that I know I bought last year, I go into one of those sketchbooks and I find it, and it's so easy to kind of just have a dedicated sketchbook to your hauls and to your favorites, because whatever I buy, some of the things then become my favorites. And it's also good to see month through month what my color palette was, what kind of mediums I enjoyed. It's like a diary really, and it is a lot of fun. So like I said, January favorites, that was my first page that I just started, but I already have 2 of these finished. Next one, we have got Stillman and Byrne, and I have a various number of those sketchbooks, and yeah, it's great. I finished quite a few different ones. So I had hardcover and have different formats, smaller, bigger. Can't say it's my favorite at the minute, but I do enjoy it. It's very white, and watercolor looks great on it. Pencils look great, but not fantastic. So not my favorite the way they look. I prefer how they look in their Royal Talents sketchbook. And let's see, so it's 270 GSM beta series, so they have different series. And did I tell you that this one is 250 GSM and this one is 300 GSM? So that's all for watercolor. Also, there's another Strathmore journal, not the visual journal, but the mixed media, that I have finished one. Let me pull it out. So here is the Strathmore mixed media. I have a brand new one. I know I enjoyed creating in it. Fantastic paper, great for all sorts of mediums. And here is a finished one. Absolutely loved it. And basically looking forward to be using it again one day. Everything looked beautiful. I loved pencils on it as well, and mixed media. The format is great, the color of the paper, the texture of the paper, it's beautiful. So what is it? It's basically 190 GSM, and it's a mixed media paper, like I said. Highly recommended, but I'm not working in it right now. Going back to the Stillman and Byrne, I thought I might as well show you a similar format where it's the cover is soft, like the one in the mixed media Strathmore that I just showed you. Sorry for the color mess up, but here is Alpha series and this is Beta series. Alpha series is thinner and it's a lot more whiter. Again, it was joy to use, but would I go back to this one? I'm not sure. I think I prefer Strathmore mixed media. It just kind of looks cool, and here it seems that I was working just on one side of the page. Oh, not all the time, but sometimes. Gosh, it's so much fun to just flip through all of this. I did realize there has been a while on my channel when I felt so uninspired that I just stopped creating altogether. So that's hopefully changing now again. Okay, and this is a small format, the beta series, so thicker paper, but just a very tiny little sketchbook, like a pocket one. This was fun as well. Oops, sorry, the colors are not... Is that better? Yeah. So just a few examples here. All right, so let's move on. I forgot to mention the Khadi paper. Now, would I say they're my favorites? I wouldn't say they're 100% favorites because it's quite tricky. They're recycled paper and some of the sizing is just so uneven. And I do like watercolors in it, and I do like it for this specific reason, for the pattern sketchbook that I have. I tried different things in here, but mostly stuck to the patterns. And basically, yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it because I had a number of different formats, and I don't know, didn't like most of the, like here for instance, very flat, and then some pages are a little bit more texture. So if you like that organic feel, then yeah, give it a go. And just purely for watercolor and a bit of line work, it works well, I think. So this paper is quite thin. So let's see, this is the Sea White of Brighton sketchbook, and it's great for all media, it says here. 140 GSM, so a little bit on a thin side. It does like to buckle quite a bit. I do like the format. It's a square sketchbook, and there's something neat about it. I like to do studies and mostly kind of like color palettes and things like that. So here is some abstract art. So yeah, this is good fun, I have to say, even though it buckles, but I really don't mind because it's a bit of a like experimental type of sketchbook, and everything looks great on it, be it acrylic paint, acrylic inks. I mean, everything I tried, I can't complain. So good one, I'd say. And isn't this one a seagull as well? Oh no, this might be... So this book is part of Jackson's sketchbooks, I just realized. And it's 130 GSM, and it's flatter. I like the color of it. It's white, but not as dark as this one. So this is like my favorite color of the paper. And I think it's the same as the... Yeah, the same as the mixed media Strathmore sketchbook. That's my favorite paper color, just neutral, not too warm, not too cold. So this one is great purely for pencils, I'd say. So I kind of use it for pencil work. Well, say pencil work. I don't work in there actually. I keep it as a swatch book mostly, and then I like to put sort of color palettes together. So that's what I do. If I have like a full set of pencils, I try to swatch them here. As you can see, look, really beautiful. You can get a really smooth pencil lay on them. So I do like it, and I'm about, what's that? Almost halfway, I'd say. Okay, so these are kind of slightly different from your typical sketchbook, but let me share them with you anyway. I'll put this black one underneath, just messes up the light. So here we've got the Dilutions Journal by Ranger. Great, and I've compared it in one of my videos to say that it's very similar drawing pleasure effect that you get with the Royal Talent sketchbook. However, it's thicker, it's a lot more expensive, like probably 5 times more expensive. It's actually very pricey here in UK at least. Maybe in the US it's different, but then you kind of get the full package. Obviously, it's a nice sketchbook to work with. There's a little pocket here that you can, you know, keep some scraps for collages and things. But yeah, it's beautiful, it's smooth, and botanical art, modern botanical art, does look great, and I would recommend it for that reason. I am about halfway in on this one. Next one, I actually forgot I had it. So this is the one that I absolutely enjoyed using, and what is it called? MD Notebook Cotton. So I completely forgot all the information about it. It's the one of the Midori ones that I think was discontinued at one point. So yeah, but it's fun. Oh, is it actually finished? No, it's not finished. Oh, I just have a few pages left. Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments. Shall we finish it together. That'd be fun. Yeah, I totally forgot. I had all of my fashion illustrations here. Well, maybe I can combine them with some of my botanical art, because I am very much into botanical art right now, and most of these I have created by using my stamp sets, which are available on Etsy. Alyona Creates, including the face ones and the florals. There's some or few left in my shop. It's a very thin paper, so it's great for, you know, drawing mostly. Similar to that, of course, we've got the Tomoe River paper. Now, Tomoe River paper you can get in all sorts of, under different brands and things like that. Here I have enjoyed even acrylic paint. It looks great. So, yeah, that has been fun. I think this might be acrylic gouache. Can't quite remember. Posca pens, pencils, everything looks fantastic on here, and it's super thin, it's crinkly, but for something where you're not going to use too much water, it's great. So this particular one is by Good Inkpressions, and I found the lady who makes them on Etsy. Okay, finally I've got Confessions of a Fashion Mind and My White Book. So these are kind of where I express my fashion love in the sense of collage mostly. So I just put some pages together that I enjoy from like magazine cuttings. It's a different way of expressing my creative sense, and when I look back at it, I love it. It just, the colors and the textures. So here anything goes, you know, I can buy some stickers and I can use some ephemera, whatever, it doesn't matter, because I'm not going to be selling this work, and essentially I'm having fun with it. And so just to give you a few pages of a flip through. There we go. Loads of fun, loads of colors. You know, again, color palette is what I'm exploring mostly, but also textures and things like that. Here's some textural medium, some illustrations. Yeah, this has been fun. I should revisit it one day. This one, I haven't started it, and I actually forgot about it. It's, I didn't tell you, but the paper in the previous one, it's just like a notebook, you know, very thin. It doesn't like any water or most mediums, so that's why sticking some collages in there works the best. Here, the paper seems a bit thicker. Don't quite remember if it says, 150 GSM. And the paper itself feels great. It has a good texture and good thickness. Basically, it's a book that you write yourself. So you can write something, you can illustrate, you can write sentences, you can write thoughts. So you write title, author, year and place. So haven't started it, but I bought it, I think, in TK Maxx, and I thought, what a fantastic way of expressing or writing a story if you are not a writer by profession, but maybe you can write a story, a book, through illustration or something like that. So that's my final one. I think I have shared all of the sketchbooks, and yeah, I recommend most of them. They're fun, and it's good to have a variety of different sketchbooks, because it means that you can jump from one style to another, whatever you're doing, or have one mixed one as well if you're not sure what you're doing. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave the comments below, hit the subscribe button, and like the video. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.